Hello, and welcome to another edition of Movie Hero Reviews. I am Jordan Anderson. I also wanted to mention our poster giveaway. You can win posters if you can correctly identify the city skyline in the intro to this video or any of my other videos that I've done. If you can correctly identify it, one of these posters could be yours. We have this Central Intelligence poster with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart. We have Get Hard. Speaking of Kevin Hart, the movie Get Hard, Kevin Hart, Will Ferrell. We have this pretty cool looking Good Dinosaur poster with all the fireflies glowing there. We have not one but two Mission Impossible posters. We have the one where he's hanging on the side of the plane, and one that has all the characters there. We have also two Peanuts posters, one with the characters and one with Snoopy on the doghouse. We have a poster from the movie The Interview, Seth Rogen, James Franco, pretty cool looking poster. We also have one with Vin Diesel, The Last Witch Hunter. You can have Vin Diesel sitting on his throne. And then we also have one from the movie The Walk with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And these posters, they're the original one-sheet posters from the movie theater, so they're original posters, all of them, because I work in a theater. I can get them. So good luck. And also I should mention that you can contact me on my Facebook page or through email, and I'm going to give all that information at the end of the video. It'll be also posted in the description for the video. Today we're going to be reviewing the movie X-Men Apocalypse. I was able to see an early screening of X-Men Apocalypse since I work in a movie theater, and it's some of the privileges of working in a theater. And I saw the movie, and I'm just gonna give you a little rundown and then tell you my thoughts on the movie. I loved it, and I'll get into why I loved it. One, because it's X-Men, and X-Men is always awesome. In my opinion, there hasn't been a bad X-Men movie. People say X-Men 3 was kind of a miss. I still thought X-Men 3 was great. Like, I am not a hater on X-Men 3, but in this movie, I'll just give you the rundown of the cast here. So you have pretty much all of the cast that you have from X-Men First Class from that movie. You don't really have any of the older cast that's set in modern times. The only one you have is yes, Wolverine's in it. He has a cameo. It's kind of a weird cameo. They show him right after he has gotten the metal put onto his bones, and so he's just like fresh out of that, like literally like fresh out, and goes on a rampage, and to the benefit of the good characters in the movie, the X-Men characters. But my favorite parts of the movie were definitely Quicksilver. He's my favorite character from this iteration of X-Men. I love Quicksilver. Evan Peters is the best. He's awesome on American Horror Story. He's awesome in the X-Men movies as Quicksilver. He is the best. I love Evan Peters. So he has another slow motion scene that's really cool, and they're playing some 80s music. I'm not going to spoil it, but you got to see the movie. And then of course James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are great. Like, they're always great. They're two amazing actors, and so they definitely are awesome as Professor Xavier and Magneto. And then you have Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. I've heard some complaints that they say that Jennifer Lawrence was kind of phoning it in. Maybe a little bit, but not really. Like, I didn't really notice it. Like, I thought she gave a pretty good performance. I mean, it wasn't as good as Hunger Games. I mean, I thought Hunger Games is where she's at the top of her game, but I mean, it's not too far from that, really. And then you of course have Nicholas Hoult as Beast. Then you have Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, and I thought he did an awesome job. I love the look of Apocalypse, and especially in the beginning, there's a really awesome scene in Egypt that kind of shows how he's gathering his powers and stuff, and how all the ancient Egyptians worship him, and because of his power, that's how the pyramids were built, and just a really cool scene. And it definitely starts out with a bang, and there's some really cool music. I love the soundtrack to it, and then the opening credits are really trippy because it starts out with a bunch of Egyptian hieroglyphics and things flying around like a kaleidoscope, and you're zooming all through a bunch of different things while they do opening credits, and then it kind of goes through time, and you start seeing some more and more modern things until it gets to present day. And I think for an X-Men movie, it's one of the best. X-Men movies always deliver on the opening credits. And let's see, what else did I really love about the movie? I'm kind of thinking of the positives as I kind of go over the cast a little bit, but some more positives in the movie. I thought that it had a great story. I really like the story of Apocalypse. I think they did a really awesome job with Apocalypse. It wasn't exactly the same Apocalypse from the comic books, but it doesn't need to be. This is the movie universe, and they got to do it the way that best serves the movie, and I think they did a great job. And let's see, you have Rose Byrne in there as Dr. Moira McTaggart. Then you have the same William Stryker, the younger William Stryker you see in First Class and Days of Future Past. You have Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. She was the one kind of misstep for me. I didn't think she gave the greatest performance, but they gave Jean a good story. So even though she didn't give the best performance, I still thought that it was still interesting to watch. Then you have Ty Sheridan played Cyclops. I thought he was kind of so-so too, but they actually gave Cyclops a little more to do than they have in the past movies, where they treated Cyclops like a wuss and kind of just treated him like a crappy character when he's the leader of the X-Men. Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men, and they never really treated it like that. Even in this movie, he's no leader, but he is given a lot more to do. They actually introduced him, and then Lucas Till plays Alex Summers, the brother of Scott Summers, who plays Havoc. So it's a brother to Cyclops. And then you have Angel, who becomes Archangel. You have the 4 horsemen of Apocalypse, so that are his followers and are endowed with special powers, just to be stronger and better, and they kind of enhance some of the looks and things about them. So you have Angel's one of them. You had Storm, and Storm, I'm kind of going through the cast list. Storm, Alexandra Shipp. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else. I'm sure she has been in other things, but I didn't recognize her. But she did a good job. I really like Storm in the movie. And then you have, of course, Magneto's one of the 4 horsemen, and then you have Psylocke, played by Olivia Munn. And I've heard a few complaints about the costume for Psylocke. Everyone's in kind of the old school 80s costume, and she's in like kind of a more newer, just like really skimpy outfit where like she shows a lot of skin. And I mean, I think it's fine because that's how she was in the comic books. I mean, she looked almost exactly right out of the comic books, so I don't mind at all. And then you see Jubilee in there. I wish they would have given Jubilee more to do, because they featured Jubilee for a split second in the first X-Men movie, and she's only in there for a second. She's also in a deleted scene where you can kind of see her powers a little bit, but you don't really get to see her do much, which is sad because she's one of my favorite characters from the 90s TV show, because that's what I grew up on. I grew up on reading a little bit of the comics and then watching the TV show from the 90s as a kid. So, and yeah, overall, I just thought it was an awesome movie, like a really good story of how Apocalypse gets his powers, and I think he was a really awesome villain, because that's one thing about X-Men. They've usually had awesome villains. The villains where they at least give a good story to. Like you have Peter Dinklage in Days of Future Past. You have, I'm trying to think of the villains. I mean, you've had Magneto for a lot of the villains. You had Sebastian Shaw in X-Men First Class, that was played by by Kevin Bacon. Then you had William Stryker kind of as one of the villains, and so yeah, I think they've always had great villains, and a lot better than Marvel, like in Avengers, like in Iron Man, Captain America, all those. Never been a good villain besides Loki. He's about the only good villain I can name in a Marvel movie. So, but yeah, I love this movie. I thought it was great. I definitely want to go see it again. I will go see it again. I downloaded the soundtrack because I'm a nerd like that. I listen to a lot of movie and TV soundtracks when I'm in the mood. And yeah, I loved it. I kind of want to go see it because when I see these early screenings, it's at midnight, and a lot of times I'm kind of tired, and so I am fading in and out sometimes, I'll admit it. So I sometimes miss a little bit, but I want to go back and see all the little small things that I missed, and I definitely want to go see that Quicksilver scene again because it's freaking amazing, and he's in the movie a lot more than in Days of Future Past, and I hope he's in there for as long as they keep doing X-Men movies because he kills it. Evan Peters is awesome. He's got a lot of charisma, so I love watching him. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I can really come up with in my non-spoiler review. I didn't want to give away any spoilers in that, so hopefully none of that sounded spoilery to you, but I'll go ahead and give my review. I give X-Men Apocalypse an 8 out of 10. So it's not quite a 10 out of 10. I gave Captain America Civil War a 10 out of 10 for reasons you can see on that video, but I thought that movie was absolutely amazing and flawless, and so, but this one I'll give an 8 out of 10. There are a few things here and there that weren't quite up to par, but not much. I still loved it, and if I were to rank this movie versus other X-Men movies, probably my favorite one so far has got to be X-Men First Class. So that's my favorite one, probably followed by, so here, I'm going to rank them in order. X-Men First Class, then you have Days of Future Past for me, and then probably X-Men 2 because I love the Nightcrawler. That's another thing, I forgot to mention Cody Smith-McPhee as Nightcrawler was awesome, but I didn't like the look of Nightcrawler. I thought he looked kind of emo-ish in this movie, but he was but I actually prefer Alan Cummings' version of Nightcrawler from X2 better, but not by much. Like Cody Smith-McPhee did an awesome job as Nightcrawler. So here, let's start the ranking for the movies again. So I like X-Men First Class, then Days of Future Past, then X2, then probably original X-Men, and then X3, and then for X-Men Apocalypse, I would put it right after the original X-Men. So, I mean, I loved all the X-Men movies, so, I mean, just because I put it lower, it doesn't really mean anything. So, it goes X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past, X2, X1, X-Men Apocalypse, and then X3. So, but even though it comes in second to last for me, that's not bad because I would put every single X-Men like at least in my top 50 movies of all time because they're great. I love X-Men movies, so that's my roots. That's like what I grew up on as a kid. X-Men and Spider-Man are my roots, and then my new favorite character for I guess the new generation is Deadpool. But yeah, so I definitely recommend X-Men Days of Future Past. Give it an 8 out of 10. So go see it as soon as you can. And I guess that's it. So I'll tell you where you can find me. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Jordan Anderson 21, and you can find me on Twitter at Jordan83616, and that's about it. I mostly update Facebook. I always remind people of that. Don't update Twitter that much, but I'll be on there from time to time. And then if you ever have a question that you want to ask me, I'm going to start doing a mailbag. I'm still working out the name because I don't want to take mailbag from another YouTube channel that does it, but it's a work in progress. But once I start getting a decent amount of emails in, I'm going to start taking viewer submitted questions, and you can ask me any movie, even TV. We'll throw TV in there if you have a question about it. I'm not going to cover it, but if you have a question about TV, sure, go for it. But we're going to focus on movies, though. If you have any kind of movie-related question, I will read your question live on the air, give you a shout-out. The email is moviehero2121@gmail.com. So send your questions there. Once I start getting a decent amount, I'll start answering questions. We'll call it some kind of mail or user questions, or I don't know. If you have a good name for a segment like that that's not a mailbag, then let me know. I'm looking for a good title, so I'm open. I'm open to suggestions for that one. But anyways, that's it. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.